So I'm in the middle of making dinner, and while I'm doing so, I figured it'd be worthwhile to kind of bring this up. So obviously, this is not my bearded signal channel. It is just my normal channel, and I have a raging idea, and completely out there, right? Trump is everywhere in the Epstein Files. All right, and I think it's very simple and straightforward as to why to believe this, because again, think of everything that's happened here. Now, originally, I would have actually believed that basically everyone in the political spectrum that is rich or powerful, excuse me, let me write this off for a second. Rich and powerful was part of this entire thing, right? That makes complete and utter sense because, well, even when they had the opportunity, no one released any files. So part of it was because, when Epstein was originally taken in underneath Trump's, first term and then died. That's kind of like, what? A billionaire died in federal custody under very extreme, strange circumstances. Yeah, it seems very convenient. Let's just put it that way. Very convenient. Several times Trump saying in the past, that Epstein was a good guy and all that stuff. And it's like, I'm sure everyone has their good days and knows that he liked them young. So that's another massive side of it. But again, you just think of the stuff that's come out of his mouth. I mean, it's crazy stuff, yes, but I'm talking about in terms of Epstein, in terms of all these things that he says he's going to do. Lily does the opposite all the time. He says he's going to release the Epstein Files. He doesn't release the Epstein Files. He says he's going to, drain the swamp. He entrenches the swamp. He says he's going to, oops, wrong light. He said he's going to do, in terms of releasing things like the JFK files and all these other files and whatnot. Of course, he says, yeah, of course I'll release it. Yeah. Why? Because he's obviously not involved in them. So it's no sweat off his back. But the second the option for, we release the Epstein Files. This, again, before he was reelected again. He said, yeah, maybe less that one. Remember? Do you remember that? Because that's not in my head. He said it. Maybe less that one. And then starts saying, you don't know what's real in there and what's not. But it's kind of obvious. He's in the Epstein Files. It's really not even a question. There's countless videos and pictures and shit of them together. Epstein, in his own words, had said that, they're friends for over a decade. And hello, Glitch Edit. So yeah, it's just interesting. Streaming about kind of the stuff that's going on so far as to reasons to believe that Trump is all over the Epstein Files and things that have come out recently. If whether or not they would be believed, of course, that's up for question. Obviously, any kind of reporting these days, I kind of question myself, but there's lots of turnarounds that seem like, oh, hi, I'm JP Dunphy. Pleasure to meet you. But yeah, I find it just kind of interesting that these things are going the way they are. And obviously politics, everyone's always trying to cover each other's backs. Everyone's, whether you're Democrat or Republican, it really doesn't matter. Independents seem to be part of it a little bit too. And I don't know, I'm quite fairly fed up with our government these days as it sits. But the bottom line of all this is, if you run on something, I think it's kind of your prerogative to attempt to actually, make it happen. And when you kind of go against what you're saying or what you promised, that's something that needs to be addressed too. So I'm pretty sure God will be coming back. I assume you're Christian for saying that. By the way, Catholic or Roman Catholic? What's your curiosity? Sorry, checking my timer here. 3 minutes left. I forgot to put the kids' Huggies in. But yeah, if someone runs just out of curiosity for the people that are actually watching this, if someone runs on a idea that they're going to do A, B, C, D, and E, and you put them in the office to say, yes, you're going to do A, B, C, D, and E, and then they do the exact opposite or take something to such an extreme, and there's no recourse for years of it. So I find it very interesting for how many times I've heard. I mean, I'm progressive myself in terms of how I look at things, but I've had a lot of even straight up MAGA people say, friends of mine, who are literally just like, yeah, I didn't vote for this when I voted this guy in. And part of it's, what news you take in. I don't watch the news because I find it to be completely unhelpful and usually extremely rigged in one way or another. But at the end of the day, a lot of it is, bullshit. It's all about clickbait these days. And hello, Star of the Night. It's all clickbait these days and trying to find a way to get someone to click it and see how many views it is. And it's all about algorithms and making things that, make people either feel good or there's an entire, I have a separate podcast called The Bearded Signal that I typically run on this. And Star of the Night, I'm doing great. How are you? Sonic, hi. And I apologize, I need a quick second because I'm talking and trying to count these things at the same time, so I need to get this done. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, perfect. These guys cooking batches of 10. Yay. 350, 8 minutes. Not bad. And air fryer, 350, 8 minutes. I apologize, I'm talking to you guys while making dinner for my kids. So, yeah. But the only way to kind of really look at what's been happening with any kind of an eye of, watch what people do, not what people say, because, a lot of people say one thing and do the complete opposite, or say something like, I care, and then completely do, horrible stuff. Oh, what I'm doing, I'm making dinner for my kids. So, to increase as much possible, nutrient intakes, I do carrots and start boiling them in the water, and then I throw in pasta so that way the pasta can actually absorb some of the good stuff. A lot of times when you boil veggies, that's actually not the best way to get them. Usually steam is a better way to keep more of the nutrients inside, but my kids don't like steamed, so they like it softer, so I had to boil it. And yeah, but bottom line of it all is, if you look at Trump's way that he's doing things right now, it's very obvious that he is all over these damn files. Because it started off as, I'm going to release the Epstein Files. And then, he gets in the office, what does he do? Basically everything possible to destroy everything that actually makes America work semi-well, but not great. Obviously, there's lots of issues with government and how it works, but the fact that he's just destroyed it for yet another tax cut for the rich is kind of bullshit and a half. But, I'm not rich, so what do I have to do outside of voting to actually say how I feel about that? Or maybe run myself. I don't know. I might run. Who knows? But again, if you're looking at the way his rhetoric goes, is he goes from absolutely like, yeah, release the Epstein Files, to suddenly it's like, oh, actually it doesn't exist, to, it's actually a hoax by Democrats. It's like, dude, make up your damn mind. You can't keep flipping all the time. It's everywhere. See ya. Thanks for coming. 10 minutes. Sorry. But again, it's anyone who knows anything about psychology, this is not the way he is acting, the way that everything has been flip-flopping and moving the goalposts constantly. It's not something you do if you are the innocent person. And again, I have zero doubt in my mind that, so I make carrots and pasta for my kids, as well as Impossible Nuggets, because we're out of normal nuggets, and normally I'd make actual chicken nuggets because, yeah. But again, his moves have been so erratic and everywhere, and it's let me put it this way: if I said, hey, I'm gonna release something, but I wouldn't believe everything you see in it because it's probably not real, and then it has my name in it everywhere, I'm just gonna be like, dude, really? again, the amount of leeway that everyone seems to give this guy is insane, because no other person in America could ever have the amount of, just give him a pass, as this dipshit in chief. I mean, I never met a more useless human being in my whole life. And I've worked in a lot of industries that have a lot of useless human beings. So I spent time as an actor, a musical theater guy. Sorry. Ow. 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 Hot. Hot. Woo. Okay, hot. Keep going. All right. And spend time with the auto industry. Yeah, I'm flipping the hot Impossible Nuggets, and they like bleed a little bit of like juice because it's like a tofu base for it. So a lot of like basically boiling hot water comes out of it, because a lot of tofu has like high water content. And so right now I'm putting this guy back in here. I just melted a little bit of butter in there so I can kind of coat it for the boys. Because now I only have boys, 3 boys. And favorite color? It's tie between blue and green. I prefer blue most of the time. I'm more of a middle of the road blue, so not like navy blue, but middle of the road blue is the way I prefer to go. But then I also like green, so I've had a couple green cars lately, and I kind of love them. Ha. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. But there was recently reporting that basically said that Trump has actually, or I can't remember if it's Trump or DOJ, but bottom line is the DOJ is an extension of Trump. Like, you can't look at Pam Bondi and not know that she's literally attached to Trump's ass. So, if he farts, she's like, and it tasted great. So, if the reporting is to be believed, which again, there could always be false reporting out there, but I have no reason to believe that this is false based on what is happening and what has been said. And things like, we'll release the Epstein with pertinent information, which basically means they're going to take Trump out of as much as possible. And to kind of back that up, the reporting says that, I can't remember if it was 500 or 1,000 people at the FBI have been taken to comb through the Epstein Files to get that. Like, to basically take Donald Trump out of it, which, of course, is like, dude. And then another thing they could do, another way that's really big at manipulating like their base and things of that nature, is something, it's sort of like false redacting. If you've ever seen that, it's like you can basically take any thing that's out there. It could be, a letter between you and your mom, and if you just redact, like, black out, 2 or 3 things in it, people be like, oh my God, it's gotta be something horrible. But, you can mislead a lot of people with that kind of stuff. My favorite food. Right now, probably beef pho. I love soups, like anything with noodles and things of that nature, just amazing stuff. Absolutely love pho. I'm also a big fan of chicken tikka masala. Trader Joe's actually has a really good version of it. It's actually, we just did some earlier today. Like this one, love it. Absolutely delicious. It's always chicken breast. I'm not a big fan of chicken thighs myself, but it always tastes good. If anyone is interested in what I'm kind of talking about, my other channel, The Bearded Signal, you can just search YouTube for it. Or you can also go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I'm in there as well under The Bearded Signal. You'll literally see it's me just like this as the logo. And I did an entire episode about this and how, false equivalencies can be pulled forth, and, basic redactions can make something look like it's more notorious than it is, and it's just interesting. Ooh, perfect. And yes, I love crawfish. Star of the night, love crawfish. What is it, boo-boo? Are you hungry? The food's ready. I just need to make it a little bit cooler for you, okay? Okay. Do you want to say hi? Come here. Come here, boo-boo. So, here. This is my youngest. This is Ronan. He likes the food I make. He's a big fan of the pasta. You say hi, buddy? Good job. All right. Food will be ready in a minute, okay? Okay? Is your belly hungry? Okay, I'll get you food in a minute. I just want it to cool down so you don't burn your little mouth. Odin and Ashton, you boys hungry? Because food's almost ready. I'm just letting for a cool down for you first, okay? And they're watching Cars. Definitely hot. But again, most of the information that is out there already kind of blatantly screams Trump is in the Epstein Files. Then if you actually take Elon Musk at his word, which, everything grain of salt, frankly, with that guy. But I used to be a Tesla owner, by the way, and not anymore. Not recently. That was actually a couple years ago. That was back in 2023. I got rid of my Tesla Model 3. I got one used 2019. And then traded in for a BMW i4 back when I used to work for BMW. But he basically said outright, and now for the big bomb, guess what? Trump's in the Epstein Files, which again, if you're taking him for what his word is, again, he had Doge, right? And he had that whole thing running. And what happened was, I guarantee they got into all this stuff. And they could probably just use, was it Borg? I can't remember what his AI is. Like XAI, I think is like, is Borg, something of that nature. That's a good temperature now. Okay. But do you boys want to watch Bluey? Do you boys want to watch Bluey next? They're loud.
But it's not a movie.
No, it's a TV show.
Yeah.
Oops. Sorry, buddy. That was loud.
It was loud.
Bluey cup dropped. You want to say hi, bud? Look. This is my son, Odin.
Hi.
You guys like to get really close to this thing, don't you? But again, if Elon Musk said that, chances are he actually had access to those files, right? And I personally believed in what Elon was trying to do for the longest time, because I thought he actually was trying to make the world a better place with electric cars and solar roofs, batteries to actually back up your home and be better than gas and natural gas generators and stuff of that nature. I'm like, this is kind of a big deal. Yeah, Bluey's an awesome show. Best show. Then I also think of things like, how are these parents with their kids this often? That is not realistic. I think my kids get upset that I'm not able to give them the same amount of time as Bandit is. So, interesting. I'm going to prop you up here while I played their stuff. Can you guys still hear me okay when I pop it up here? Because you're against the padding stuff inside of my things like this stuff, so I don't know if that hampers how it sounds. But ooh, beautiful, thank you. Where was I? I apologize, I lost my train of thought. Right, so Elon Musk says outright Trump is in the Epstein Files. 100% believe him. Why not? He's plastered there are countless things that say that yeah, he's definitely connected. Period. Full stop. So it's definitely happening. And if anyone here is MAGA, please let me know. No like shade against you. I have really no ill will against any human, unless they try and hurt me or my family. And personally with the latest Medicaid cut, they're coming after my kids, so I kind of hate Trump right now, massively, and every single Republican out there for that reason, because my son right here, love him to death, he's autistic. My middle child, who if you haven't seen yet, is also autistic. They're granted high functioning, but they're autistic, so they get a lot of extra aid, and you know, my family is great. We don't make a ton of money. I honestly wish I could make more. Since leaving B&W, my entire salary has dropped by nearly $60,000 a year, which is not a small amount. Odin, how hungry are you, love bug? How hungry are you? Super hungry? Semi-hungry? Not really that hungry. Super hungry? Okay. I'm gonna get... I got chicken nuggets for you guys.
I don't even want chicken nuggets, but
You don't?
I do.
Well, you are getting the pasta regardless, but I need...
But I just want carrots and pasta.
Well, you need to have a little bit of protein with your food, so that way you have a nice balanced. Obviously, I prefer to get... You guys had a lot of fruit this afternoon, so I want you to have a nice balanced meal.
Maybe you can give me... Maybe
I'll give you just a few. You know, see how you do it.
I have
Just
some
a couple.
apple juice here. When I ate the chicken
Apple juice. Cute.
and it's hot, I'll just drink the apple juice to get rid of the hot.
Yeah, that's a good way. Cool. Something cool to drink will definitely help if something tastes a little hot. And your nuggets are still a little hot, which is why I'm just starting to serve them now. So you can start with your pasta and your carrots. That's a good temperature right now for you. And you can eat your nuggets afterward. Do you want, Odin, do you want hot sauce or ketchup? Or Chick-fil-A sauce?
Ketchup.
Ketchup with yours? Okay. What do you get? Well, no cookies right now, my love. Cookies after dinner. Dinner first, then cookies. Okay? I know, very upsetting. No cookies. But here, my love, take that to the table. Row. Ashipucha. Foo-foos. It's chicken nuggets. Just the way you like them. It is a little hot, so I'm going to let yours cool for another minute before you get it, okay? But, getting back on track again, I apologize for the sidewinding here. But again, if Trump is actually taking, 1,000 FBI agents to comb through all of the Epstein files and remove him from it, what are you hiding, motherfucker? You know what I mean? What are you hiding? Because I don't know about you, I want to see the Epstein files very badly. I want to see absolutely everything in it. Every Democrat, every millionaire, billionaire, every Republican, every single person that's in it. I want to see it. I want to know who the fuck is in it. Because, when you make your entire party rail against something like, child molesters and things of that nature, if your party is the one mainly in it, that's kind of a problem. That's called, reflection. Give me 1 second. I gotta get Lois one inside of his seat. What's wrong, boo boo?
I told
1, 2, 3.
I tried to tell you to cut these chickens.
I'll cut those chickens for you, buddy.
Can you cut them so they don't stay hot?
Yes, that's exactly a good reason to cut them. It increases the surface area and makes them cooler. That's right. That's 100% right, buddy.
No.
I got you, bud. All right. So because of that, I think it's beyond obvious that Trump is definitely in it. Every time they ever, I mean, just look at the history of what's happened here. Every time they make an accusation, it's always a confession. They, accuse Democrats of exploding the deficit, and yet every single time they're in power, they explode the deficit. Every time, bar none. Prove me wrong. In the last 40 years, there's not a single Republican administration that has not exploded the deficit in comparison to a Democratic one. And then they do things like say, they're trying to cheat, they're trying to steal votes, and yet when it comes to the actual election and post-election, run-throughs, what they find, more Republicans than Democrats always, always are cheating in elections, either voting twice, voting for dead people, things of that nature. Like you rarely hear about the Democrats that do it, but the Republicans are caught constantly. If Democrats are doing it, they're pretty stupid because if they were trying to steal an election, why wouldn't they steal it from the guy that there is shown to be such a massive issue for the American people? Now, is he good at marketing? Absolutely he is. I will not doubt that. Are his followers kind of stupid for it? Yes, because you literally have his first term that proves exactly what we've been saying. Scooby-Doo. By the way, this is my dog Scooby-Doo, and I have multiple cats. More family members. So, obviously, I feel like the four of you guys who are watching at this moment obviously know that he is all over these. There's really no denying it. He kind of has to be, because you don't do things you are doing if you're innocent. Full stop. MAGA, Biff, how you doing? So, Biff, as a question, as part of his loyal MAGA base, are you? I don't want to assume. Are you part of Trump's whole MAGA base? Okay, that's cool enough. So, out of curiosity, do you also, and hello River from UK, do you think that Trump is probably all over the Epstein Files here? Because of, again, actions, not words. Words he's flip flopped so much that you're sort of like, okay, I don't know where to stand on this. Because first it's like, the Epstein Files are coming, and then it's like, oh, but it's only things that, you know. Start of the night, I'm going to go on a limb and probably think that your parents think he's good, probably because they saw him on TV, because that seems to be the general idea of most of the populace is, if I see the person on TV, they have to be good or very, very bad. It's kind of one or the other. But, oh, Odin, I'm sorry. I forgot to give you your ketchup. Do you want a little ketchup, Roro? Here you go, bud. Do you want a little more? Okay. Ash, you're doing great, buddy. And you? Here, tiny little bit. Bloop. Tiny bit of ketchup. Which, by the way, as a complete side note, who remembers the Bluey episode with ketchup? It's like, is your ketchup different from my ketchup? Or sorry, tomato sauce is what they call it. But why is your tomato sauce different from my tomato sauce? It has different sugar in it. Can I try some of your tomato sauce? Oh, this is beautiful. Anyway, so I apologize. This isn't this is just on my phone. So I'm not sure how many of you guys can see the other things that are coming here. But River just basically said it's crazy that this is the final straw for so many maggots. Like, after everything he's done and said, it wasn't until now they decided they weren't on board. Yeah, honestly, I kind of agree. It's sort of, for how many decades, literally decades, have things. And again, I made an entire episode about this on my podcast, The Beard Signal. And my personal favorite one of it was Reaganomics. So during Reaganomics, there's an entire thing where everything was switched, how things were talked about. So again, If you talk to anyone in America and they talk about things like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, all that stuff, most of the MAGA people call them entitlements, as opposed to earned benefits, right? You pay into it, it's an earned benefit. It's not entitlement. An entitlement is something that you think you're supposed to get regardless of what's happening. If you pay into it, it's an earned benefit. So there was a massive change and shift in nomenclature during all this Reaganomics, and it's kind of been the mainstay for all this in the meantime. And before, that was the first massive tax cut for the ultra wealthy that was out there under Reagan. And then there's also again, shift in how people talked about things, which makes everything very different on how you talk about something. It's like, for instance, again, entitlements versus earned benefits. They're the first people to basically say how anyone who, if you make a lot of money and you're stealing your way to get it done, that's a good thing. That's the economy working the way it's supposed to. Versus, that's kind of bad. That could be laundering and, crimey. And the way the wealth gap that has exploded in this country is absolutely insane. So, fun fact, I did a little thing that basically, if you go online and basically search, where am I on the income scale? If you look at that one, I can't remember if this is reversed or not, but the scale basically looks like this. It's sort of like 10% of earners, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 98%. Like it goes like, it shoots up so drastically at the end. It's not even funny. But I did that, and I was sort of, and supposedly, for the 60% and up of earners, you're going to get a tax cut. So supposedly I'm going to get a tax cut with this. I don't believe it, but supposedly I'm going to get a tax cut. I don't believe that's going to happen at all, because I didn't see any massive tax cuts under Trump the first time, so I'm not expecting a massive tax cut under Trump this time. But again, if you ran on something, and again, this is kind of back to Biff, if you're still watching this, but if your guy ran on something, shouldn't he do his absolute best to follow through with exactly what he ran on? And yet, every single thing across every single poll that is out right now, across the board, he is underwater on every single issue, now including even immigration. Because, again, I think we can all agree, as a general, things. Bye-bye, Star of the Night. Have a great one. Thanks for joining. I think we can all agree that if someone is here illegally, and I'm saying this as a progressive myself, if someone is here illegally and they are committing crimes and doing all this shit, I do believe they should not be in the country anymore. That's not helping society. Now, of course, the fact that, undocumented immigrants do still pay taxes and still can, work underneath, work and have income tax taken out of anything they make, because obviously you can't always pay people under the table. I personally don't think you should be paying anyone under the table anyway, but that's neither here nor there. That's not my personal thing. But I have an idea that I've been putting together, and yes, Soundstorm, I 100% agree. They rarely do what they run on. Rarely do. In fact, most of it's usually the exact opposite. So it's pretty detrimental psychologically to anyone. But it obviously, it's raining beautifully outside. But I would love to actually see people run on something and actually be able to get it done. Now, granted, there's so much red tape everywhere in government, unless you have people literally kowtowing to every single thing you want, which is why all these, mega backers are sort of like, hey, they got through, completely unqualified people like Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard, and it's just countless people. I'm just like, how the living hell? Like, you're a TV personality, you don't belong. By the way, in his entire cabinet, 30 people in his cabinet are from Fox. All right? And I'm sorry, if your cabinet is made up of people that work at Fox News or used to work at Fox News, who is a company, by the way, who every time they're in court and litigated for the stuff they say that's like damaging to people, they say in court, we are not a news company, we're an entertainment company. You know, just shy of $1 billion lawsuit for lying to its viewers, and yet those are the people that you chose to be in your circle. I find that deplorable, personally. And it's more about, because the entire thing, the whole reason for his entire cabinet as it sits today is optics. It's basically, do they look good on camera? Do they look good? Because let's face it, some of them must. Oh, you okay, boo boo? Okay. Sorry, I thought I was joking for a second. It's optics. So if you have people look good, and hey, that's okay, they look good on camera, right? That's basically the only criteria. That and do you kiss my ass? That was really all that was all there was. Some of the more capable humans that have been hired throughout history, probably not the best lookers in the world, in my personal opinion. You know, I don't think Churchill, anyone looked at him and just went, yeah, Churchill's like, wow. You know what I mean? Apologies, taking a second to read Soundstorm's looking here. So when I get the time of my votes, I take into account a row with Trump is just wow. And that's all I can say. Yep. He has to have major dirt and a lot of people to pull it. Yeah, 100% agreed. So much dirt has to be taken. Like there's no other. I mean, so basically, in terms of dirt, right? The entire OBBBA. I don't want to say the whole thing because I don't find it beautiful at all. But the big, terrible, horrible spending bill that was passed was literally it. There's not a single person that's saying this helps America, because none of it does. There's not a single freaking thing in it that helps America or any of its people. It's just millionaires and bears. It's basically it's not a bill for the people. It's a receipt for the people that paid for Trump to get in. That's it. That's all it is. Every single thing. Again, I have a very boring time. I have horrible time sleeping, so I take the time to actually read through as much stuff as I possibly can. I got through 747 pages of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, and it is terrifying, but it is literally read as though a bunch of different people just put in their wish list and they just said yes to everything. Because so much stuff in it contradicts other things in it. Like, again, the biggest one for me personally is when they did everything possible to completely turn around everything from the Affordable Care Act to cutting Medicaid and Medicare. And it goes, again, they ran on, I'm not going to do any of this. But they did it. Yeah, no, I actually love that, and so many people tuned out because they did it in the middle of the night. And that's another thing. How much of this stuff is done literally in the middle of the night, and when it comes to the Supreme Court, how much stuff is done on the shadow docket and things of that nature? This stuff should be done out in public. Period. The end. Full stop. And in terms of the Supreme Court, I really believe that there should be. I don't think any judge should ever have lifetime anything. Period. The end. Just like anyone else, you work to get there, you work to stay there. And when you're not doing your job, you're removed. But again, the spineless Republicans here would never get rid of any of the Supreme Courts. Although, I had another episode in my The Bearded Signal podcast that I do, where I literally went over why the Supreme Court should actually be expanded. Because historically, the Supreme Court has always had the same number of justices as circuits in the United States. And I'm already blanking on how many circuits there are in the United States, but typically they used to do something called circuit runs, where they would actually go out and sit on each of the circuit benches and basically rotate around each one to know what's going on in the country. And the number of circuits in the United States, which actually, let me double check that because I'm blanking on the number. How many circuit courts are there in the United States?
I found this on the web.
That doesn't help me. That's just I just want the number. I don't need you to search the web for me. I wish Siri was a little bit better at this. But typically there are the same number of justices as circuits. But now there's 9 justices, but I think, I remember right, there's 13 circuits. 13 circuits. So if you actually expanded it, because there is historical precedence to do so, that would, fix everything. The problem is, if that's agreed to under this one, then it's going to be further gerrymandered. Because again, let's also go back to a little bit of history here, where Mitch McConnell under Obama basically said, "Oh, we can't put Merrick Garland on the Supreme Court because it's an election year." Then fast forward to Trump at the end. At the end, they basically forced through all these horrible people who, said it's that Roe v. Wade was settled precedents, settled law, and then immediately overturn it. Immediately overturn it. But my personal favorite was Amy Coney Barrett, who literally was shoved through while voting was happening. While voting was happening. The balls on these people to do the shit they did. And yes, thank you for looking that up. So yes, and my brain was briefly telling me 14 circuits. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Because I believe it's four expansions from where we're at now, because 9 to 13 is 4. So but yeah, see, the problem with this is, I'm basically talking to Soundstorm almost exclusively now, but the problem with this is the idea that no one is above the law. The Supreme Court handed him the reins here, all right? If you saw the actual signing of the OBBBA, Mike Johnson handed Trump his freaking gavel. All right? There's a lot of symbolism going on here that's not even very symbolic. And it's saying that you control us. You are in charge. Countless times. And there's supposed to be 3 separate but equal branches of government. Full stop. That's literally how it's written in there. Another thing that bothered the hell out of me was their very wrong interpretation of the insurrectionist clause for running for office. There's nothing that says you even need to be, proven an insurrectionist, even though he was in Colorado court. But it's self-actuating that if you are an insurrectionist, if you aid or abet found insurrectionists to the Constitution, you are an insurrectionist and cannot run for office. And the Supreme Court tried to say, and again, this is completely cross party lines. It was 3 to 6 when they put down this ruling back when Trump was still running for it. But the bottom line was my God, Yara, my cat's like really going to herself. Anyway. And yeah, no worries. So it's just, for me personally, it's deplorable that someone like Donald Trump was ever able to be elected in the first place, let alone re-elected. Especially because, dude, we have receipts from your first administration. It was a disaster all across the thing. And okay, I get it. You could say that, there are no, his whole thing was, there's no new wars under me. Well, guess what? You started quite a couple things here. Whatever happened to ending the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours? Whatever happened to all this shit? And, on one side you can say, yeah, okay, people say things all the time, and, things are a lot harder than you think. But if you are the most powerful man in the world, why can't you make it happen? Just saying. Scooby-Doo, do not bother him. Go to your room. It's almost 6 o'clock. I will feed you guys when it's 6. That is always the time I feed you. Go to your room, Scoob. So Scooby-Doo, he's 14 years old, and he has, you see that little bump on his face? Come here, bud. You're not in trouble. So this little bump on his face is a mast cell tumor, and unfortunately it's gotten kind of big, and it's grown to all of his lymph nodes are infected with the tumor. So if you run your hand along him, you feel little bumps all over his body, which So he's still in good spirits, so I haven't brought myself to say goodbye to him just yet, but I'm pretty sure it's coming soon because quality of life is starting to take a turn for the worst, which sucks. Hey, you're doing good. Good job, buddy. Hey, you're doing good too. But you didn't. Yeah. He did. Well, he's getting to his chicken. And he ate all of his pasta. But I would like to. Oh, good job, Roro. Good job. Kids are good eaters. You know, Ashton, my middle child, is a very slow eater. He would like make dinner last like 4 hours if he had the opportunity. But good God, I've been talking for 45 minutes. That's horrible. But it's the thing is that is amazing about Trump especially, but a lot of politicians and people in power in general, is there is a time where almost all of them say something and it's actually the truth come out full-heartedly. And that actually happened during his lead up to the 2024 election, when he actually said in front of a whole bunch of people, like a whole bunch of his own voters, he said, I don't really care about you. I just want your vote. I just want your vote. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. He said that outright. And that was probably the only thing he actually said that was true out of his damn mouth. Everything else is basically a certified lie. You know, it's insane amounts of things that have happened that provable and all that. Love bugs. Obviously, 2 of you are basically finished. Do you want me to put something on TV? We got about 2 hours before we get ready for bed. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Daddy's on the phone, which is not the way Daddy normally does this. So, I will allow you guys to be smooched by the TV. Don't judge me. What do you boys want to watch? Do you want to watch Inside Out too?
How about let's do Bugs Life 2.
There is no Bug's Life 2. It's just a Bug's Life.
Yeah, Bugs Life 2 is real life, right?
No, doesn't exist, Love Bug.
It's not
There's no Bug's Life 2. Is there?
As Bugs Life.
I don't think there's a Bug's Life 2.
They called that thing where insects and animals in ponds and pond predators. Did they call that I mean Bugs Life 2, right?
I don't think there is a Bug's Life 2. I could.
But it says 2.
Oh, I know. You're thinking of the real life one. So the National Geographic has a Bug's Life and Bug's Life 2. That's different.
They call that Bugs
Good
Life
God,
2,
1998.
right?
How freaking old are we? Jesus. All right. Well, in that case, hey Siri, watch Bug's Life 2 on Living Room TV. It's terrifying. Yeah, I was 86, so I'm right there with you.
Some options are on the screen.
Oh, options on the screen.
What would you like?
The second one.
So that. Siri, the first one. Hey Siri, watch A Bug's Life. No, Living Room TV. Takes a minute, but it does work. Options. Hey, do you want me to roll you in here so you can see this while you finish your little noshi nosh? Come on, buddy. Bump bump. There we go. Ash, can you eat 2 more? 2 more of each. 2 more carrots and 2 more pasta. Can you do that for me, Love Bug?
Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, I was about to say how many people watching have kids, because I got 3, all boys. Yes, my love. 1 second. It's playing A Bug's Life.
But I said that the one, the real life one.
Yeah, I don't know where the remote is for the TV. I mean, unless I can